up with day 2 today. We are evaluating polynomials today. So when you evaluate, you are plugging in. So essentially what we are doing is plugging in values today. So let's read through example number 1. So example number 1 says the total lung capacity is approximately 6 liters in a healthy young adult. Find the volume of air in the lung 2 seconds into the respiratory cycle if it is represented by the polynomial function below. So volume is always in cubic units. So liters is in terms of liquid units. So it's important to know or maybe understand that 1 liter is 1,000 cubic centimeters. So 6 liters is actually 6,000 cubic centimeters. So if 1 liter is 1,000, 6 liters is 6,000. So when you're finding your answers to this volume of the lung capacity in terms of time, we're finding our answers in terms of cubic centimeters, not liters. So what we're going to do is take the number 2 and plug it in to that equation. So this is a calculator equation because you have decimals. So anytime in mathematics you see more than 3 decimals, those are calculator questions. In calculus, that's the rule of thumb. If you've got 3 decimals, it's a calculator question. So what I would have you do is take your calculator out, take the number 2. Function notation says at time t equals 2, we're going to take every t value and replace it with 2 and plug it into that equation. So you're going to take negative 0.0374, 2 cubed plus 0.1522, 2 squared plus 0.1729 times 2. And hopefully we all get 654.4, and the units are centimeters cubed. And you see how it doesn't make sense that there would be 655 liters of oxygen? And think about 650 bottles of Coke. That's crazy. Okay, are we all okay typing and plugging in and getting that on a graphing calculator? So the 1,000 came into play to turn it into cubic centimeters. So that answer right here, that 0.6554 that you originally get when you plug it into your calculator, again, that's the approximate number of liters. This is the volume in cubic centimeters. So I multiplied by 1,000 to follow our rule of thumb that 1 liter is 1,000 cubic centimeters. So you have less than a liter of oxygen in your lungs 2 seconds into the respiratory cycle. Okay, so for the next example, which I'm going to join on the iPad so I can write instead of just scrolling. We have find the value of c minus 3c minus 4 minus 5c if f of x equals x squared plus 2x minus 3. So when I see a problem like this, my first thought is I'm going to look at the first part of the function. So I'm going to look at that f of 3c minus 4, and I'm going to replace every x value with 3c minus 4. So the first thing you want to do is replace every x value with 3c minus 4. And then you have to FOIL the first 2 terms. distribute the next two terms, and then combine like terms. And then after you combine like terms, you get 9c squared minus 18c plus 5. So that represents the first part of our function. The second part of your function is subtracting 5c. Now I don't like negatives, so I'm going to actually distribute that negative 5c into the problem. So everywhere I have an x, I'm going to replace it with a c. And then I'm going to distribute that negative 5. And then what I'm going to do for the final step is take my answer I got for the first part in green and combine it with the answer I got in purple to get the final answer for that function. So you're going to take the green, combine it with the purple to get a final answer of 4c squared minus 28c plus 20.
At this time, seniors, please report to the auditorium. Thank you.
Okay. So let's look at example number 2. So once again, you have a couple choices. You can do it all at once. I tend not to do it all at once because then sometimes all the variables can become a little jumbled. So I tend to take it in parts. So I'd find b of 2x minus 1. So everywhere I have an m, I'm going to replace it with 2x minus 1. And then I'm going to FOIL, distribute, and combine like terms. So negative 2x and negative 2x gave me negative 4x. And then I'm going to distribute my 2, so I have negative 8x. And then 1 times 2 is 2, plus 2x, and then negative 1 and negative 1 is negative 2. So what I'll notice is that positive 2 and negative 2 cancel. And then I can combine negative 8x and positive 2x. So that I get 8x squared minus 6x. And then similarly, I'm going to look at the negative 3bx. So everywhere I had an m, I'm going to make an x, and then I'm going to distribute a negative 3. And then for the last step, I'm just going to write it and group it all together. So what that means is b of 2x minus 1 minus 3bx is equal to 8x squared minus 6x. minus 6x squared minus 3x plus 3. And simplified, that is 14x squared minus 9x plus 3. Yes. Actually, it'd be 2x. Yes, thank you. Okay, and one more. So we have g of 2x plus 1 minus g of x. So what I want to make note of, though, just to help create clarity, if you have the v of a number, then your answer is a number. If you have a function, so like f of a function, your answer is a function. So here again, we have g of a function, so my answer will be a function minus 2g of x. So what we're going to do is get a function from a function. Okay. And then negative 2gx. So the negative 2 would go to both terms. And then we'll group them together. But what happens if you got asked to find g of 2x plus 1 minus 2g of x when x equals 2? So now what that means is that you have to replace every x with a 2. So it's kind of like saying finding g of 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 1, which is 5, minus 2g of 2. Now, since I already know what g of 2x plus 1 minus 2gx equals, you can simply plug in a 2 for every x in that simplified formula. So when x equals 2, g of 2x plus 1 minus 2g of x is equal to 14. You could have found g of 5 back in the original, so like 5 squared is 25 plus 3, which gave you 28. And then you could have subtracted from 28 2 times g of 2. and also gotten down to that same answer. So like 2 squared would have given you 4, 4 plus 3 would have given you 7, and 7 times negative 2 would have given you negative 14, which would have also gotten you to 14. 28 minus 14 is 14. So 2 ways to see how it works. Your homework for this weekend is simply to look at problems similar to that. So like there's 2 equations at the top, you're finding all of the parts down at the bottom for those equations. Does that make sense? That is due on Monday along with the homework from yesterday. So you're doing the next 2 pages in that packet. I actually think you finished your packets. Okay. Yep, so you're finishing up those packets. They're done. So those 2 pages are due on Monday. So you're turning in the 6-3 assignments on Monday. And then Monday we'll do an in-class review. And then we have a review game for Tuesday. And your test is pushed back to Thursday.